Chaddy's back, everyone. Chad Warner is back on air. We talk the Swans starting 2-0. We talk Errol's heartbreaking injury and how he only really found out about it 2 hours ago. And we talk about the upcoming Hawks game at the G-Dust.
Jeff, it's very exciting, and he absolutely mopped my Blues. But yes, very much looking forward to this week. You know where to find us, at 100K Sports, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram. Like and subscribe. On air, we'll be back every single week with Chad, with Bailey, and a special guest. Enjoy the episode.
Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of On Air, brought to you by Statmate. Today we're joined by a good friend of the show, none other than Sydney Swans superstar, Chad Warner. Chad, good to have you back.
Thanks, guys. It hasn't been too long. It's been a great start to the year too, so it's great to be back on the show.
We've got to get straight to the heartbreaking news of the day. Errol's reportedly out for 4 months. Have you spoken to him, Chad?
Yeah, on the phone. Obviously, he went home pretty quick, which is fair enough. But it's honestly done much worse, to be honest. It's pretty heartbreaking for him. Obviously, he's as shattered as you can imagine. But I think the only good thing is if we do make finals in the end, he should be back for that, hopefully. He's got a great head on his shoulders, great attitude as well, and we move forward. That's the main thing. We've got a great squad on us and ready to just go again.
Did it feel like it was always going to be bad news on Saturday night, or was there any glimmer of like, oh, maybe it's not too bad, he might be able to continue on here?
To be honest, I actually had a lot more hope than what actually happened today, but I don't know, I just had a little glimmer of hope that maybe it was just one of those pop-outs that didn't do too much damage, and it might be a month or so. And to be honest, he said it actually wasn't too sore the next couple of days. He was moving it around. It wasn't in a sling or anything. So I had a little bit of a glimmer of hope, but to be honest, it was probably more just hope rather than anything else, really.
You play Hawthorn by West Coast. Was there ever the conversation of, or he would have spoken to the doctors, let's try and rehab it for 4 weeks here and see how it is? Or was it just too much damage and it just had to be surgery? There was no other option? Without,
I guess, knowing all the full details, and I probably can't comment fully on it, but I think there was maybe a bit of a glimmer as well of hope that he could maybe have, like you said, a month or so off and then really tape it up, play with it, and play the rest of the year kind of a little bit hindered. But I think in the end, that was a pretty, low chance. And after speaking today, they were just saying the risk is that you're just going to keep popping it out, to be honest. So you can either do that, keep playing for the rest of the year, and most likely keep popping it out and just causing more damage. So I think surgery is definitely probably the smarter option in this case as well.
Do you know when he's going under the knife?
I think in a couple of days, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go have dinner with him tonight as well. Logan and I take him out just to kind of take his mind off a bit, so I'll probably find out a little bit more then as well.
He's notoriously for just being a freak trainer, and you think this time last year he broke his leg, so he spent all this time off legs. He's going to train and bust his ass, like running-wise, when he can, to get back into this side, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing that you'll know more than anyone. Like I said, he's got a great attitude and head on his shoulders. He might find another hobby like he has with the planes in this time off as well. But on that, I think he should be running about 4 weeks, 6 weeks after surgery anyway. Obviously, being a shoulder, you can probably get back to running a bit earlier, which is great. But yeah, he'll be flogging himself any second he can, which is great for the team. He does everything right, and he'll be firing, I guess, when he comes back as well.
And just like, obviously mentally, yeah, he's fucking flat as, and this is where you have to be a mate. You're not a teammate, you're a mate. You said you're taking him out for dinner. How else do the boys help around? Just get around him. Obviously, being around the club and being around the boys in rehab help. How do you help here?
Yeah, that's actually a really good question. Obviously, at the start, we've probably got a lot of people getting around him, messaging him, offering to do stuff, and once again, that's great. I think probably through the middle parts of your rehab, when the team is trying to win games, when people are coming in and out and game plans are changing a little bit, I think that's the time when you've really got to kind of try and think outside yourself a bit more. And even the other rehab boys, see how they're going. Obviously, Errol's going to be the main one, but see how all the rehab boys are going. The middle of the year is kind of a real grind for them. Obviously not playing for a while, and winter, the weather's a bit worse for wear as well, and you can't probably do as much things as you like to. So all the rehab boys, you just kind of got to try and think outside yourself a lot and put yourself in their shoes, and just really check on them, especially that middle time of the year, like I said.
I love that. I like the actual mateship of it, and I know you guys are close. Das?
Chad, it's great to have you back. I'm so excited to jump back on with you. Now, I have to ask, they say that Goz is being disrespectful, the way that he's handled himself in the media. Is there anything more disrespectful than playing the Swans and the Suns at Norwood Oval at Gather Round in a few weeks' time? We've got two of the hottest teams, 2-0, and we're playing on a ground that doesn't have any wings. Have you guys been talking about this internally? It's a joke.
Yeah, well, I actually fully forgot about that, to be honest, that we're out at Norwood. I think it would probably be good for players like me who don't clock up as many Ks, and I struggle to do the running game a fair bit. But the boys on the wings might be a bit filthy about that. But yeah, I think it is hard when you have Gather Round locked in and you don't know which teams are going to be the best. Maybe a rolling fixture for that could be good. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think it'll be fun though, playing on a nice little local ground there.
You cannot have the grand final preview on fucking Norwood Oval, Das. It makes me sick. Some Saturday arvo. That should be Friday, Adelaide Oval. Anyway, did you watch much footy on the weekend, Chad? Did you have an eye over the games, or were you just having the Ascot quaddie playing your game and you switched off?
Yeah, I was doing a bit of both, to be honest. The Ascot quaddie, I'm not sure I can't even remember the result of that. I didn't actually watch it. I was watching a little bit before our game of Caulfield and Rose Hill. But yeah, other than that, I actually did watch a lot of the other games. They're actually, like I said before, amazing fun watching as a fan. But there's been some really high-scoring games, which is great to see. That's the thing I've been loving at the moment. I think the new rules maybe have been helping that too. It's getting great to see kind of 100-point games pretty much each week.
Now, we don't want to unfairly put you in a corner, but we will. Are you surprised how much the Bombers still stink?
Yeah, I'm not really sure what I can say about that, but I thought they actually did really, really well in the first half, to be honest. They really served it up to them. And the Hawks are an absolutely quality side, and the reality is we've got to go up against them this week, which is pretty scary, again at the MCG. And the reality is the way that the Hawks played in that second half, I don't think any team could have kept up, to be honest. And like I said, we're going to be watching a lot of that second half to try and work out how to beat them, and we'll go up against them this week. But Essendon have a lot of young players developing too, so it does take a fair bit of time with a young squad.
Good answer, Das. Good answer. You tried to bait him in. He's too good for you. All right, before we get to the Hawks, let's get to the 2-0 Swans. Go back to opening round. Go back to the belt to ass on the Blues you gave them. Talk to us about that game. Talk to us about the first half. We only kicked 2 goals in the first half. I cracked the shits. What did Coxie say at halftime?
Yeah, he did say a bit, but to be honest, I think it wasn't really about what Coxie said. It was just about what us players did, to be honest. Obviously, we were still having a fair crack in that first half, but a lot of stuff just wasn't working. We were really weren't getting our roles right. We weren't kind of getting our positions right, and I think we were probably thinking about the outcome too much. On that, and we were putting ourselves in the right positions to actually execute our game plan. Also, our skills were probably a bit iffy. The handballs weren't hitting, our kicks weren't hitting. I think the humidity probably took a little bit to get used to with how slippery the ball was. But yeah, pretty much from the second half, we just got back to what we know, which is get into our spots, get to the right spots, and then from there, the players can do what they do.
So, saying that, so I went back this morning and I listened to the first set we did before Carlton. And this is what you said, and I quote, the fans have to know a lot of players have a license to make stuff up on the run, play a little more risky, which is great, but we'll mess it up a lot. So the fans need to expect a lot of mistakes, but when we clean them up quick, and it's good, and it's going to be real good. That is exactly what that game was, to a word. First half, you looked like you were trying to go a million miles an hour. The whole team was trying to go a million miles an hour. And Carlton were good. They came to play, few mistakes here and there. Then the second half, it clicked. I've never seen anything like that third quarter, Chad. Like, what was the feeling amongst the group? Was that like, yes, this is what we've trained all preseason. This is how we want it to look like?
Yeah, I think definitely probably doesn't sound like the right thing to say, but I think it actually felt like it was a bit of a relief, to be honest, with how it all worked. And like you said, the way we've been training is exactly that. And so to have your training then pay off in the game, I think it actually was a big relief to know that it works. And when you just lock in to what the team needs, what your role needs, and to just kind of be predictable to each other. We do play a little bit of a chaos game, but the reality is it's predictable to ourselves. And like I said, like you said just then, cleaning it up and cleaning up kind of turnover to turnover to turnover like that is what we pride ourselves on.
Yeah, Jev's vocal at the best of times, and he was silent. And then as soon as it started to happen, I just want to know, because it was a tough watch, Chad. Could you tell the Blues were cooked, or was there a moment that they gave up, or both? Because it was like watching an episode of Bondi Rescue with 23 blokes caught in a rip, and we couldn't do anything about it. We could not do a thing, Chad.
Well, I'm not sure if obviously being opening round up in Sydney, I'm not sure if the humidity actually had a big effect too, because the reality is we've been training in that since, November, September as well. And obviously being down in Melbourne, it's a lot colder. So I reckon the humidity had to have a bit of a factor, which makes it tough. But the reality is I honestly I wasn't really thinking about the opposition at all. I was just kind of locked into my teammates and what we need to do. And I think that's the great thing about any team. When you're going well, you kind of just only think what your team needs, and that's about it, really.
So we sent you the clip of Callum Mills saying you're a bull in a paddock, basically. You talked about how much pasta and sugar and chocolate you eat before the game. I could tell you were fired up in that game. Charlie kicked his first goal. You started it all in brawl. You were doing the money signs to the crowd. Were you just, starting at half forward? Were you just like full of energy, at full emotion, and like you just wanted to be uncaged, basically?
I don't know. I think having Charlie, obviously against his old team, playing against Will and Ollie again, the vibes were just high in general. So if you mix the two together with myself as well, I was really pumped up. And to be honest, I didn't really sleep that much before the game because I was just so excited to wake up already.
I love that. Is it true, or is it a rumour, that you watch Johnny Manziel highlights before every game?
Definitely not every game. It's been a couple. And the reason why I put him on my story again before that game and did the little money tribute to him was, I don't know, I just really like his attitude and mental attitude when he went into that Alabama game. I'm sure you all know that one classic game that he speaks about and they show on his doco, but that was kind of the mentality that I just wanted to go in with, like he said on his thing. Take from them everything and give them nothing. I think I really just loved that attitude and just tried to channel that a bit, and it got me really hyped up, yeah.
Geez, there was some chirp out there. Was it Carlton having a lot to say, or was it just, I could just see how fired up the Swans were as just a group, and you guys were just pumped. You're talking to the crowd, talking to Carlton, starting to fight. Was it chippy out there, or was it just like you guys were just pumped?
Yeah, it was a bit of both. To be honest, there wasn't that much chirp and lip, I think, until probably the second half, really. I think a lot of the time when we stuffed it up too in that first half, and what you were talking about before, I think it was because we probably were so, hyped up as well and ready to go that sometimes you need to bring yourself down that little bit of a level. But yeah, like I said, probably until the second half, there wasn't actually too much lip in that. It was more just physicality and hits, I think. So
we're going to talk about the infamous long lunch that you went on after the Carlton game. What was a higher number, Chad? The goals the Swans kicked in the third quarter, or the amount of margaritas you consumed at the long lunch the next day?
I think it was the goals. I actually I went with a couple of mates and my manager and that, and we actually had a fairly tame one, unfortunately. But I think the goals had to take the cake over the lunch for that one.
So let's go to the Lions. So that game was over in 15 minutes, Chad. Was there anything that changed during the week? You guys kicked 5 goals in 15 minutes. You were 40 points up with a minute to go in the first quarter. That was the third quarter, but from bounce one. What sort of changed during the week, or you're just so confident as a squad now?
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of everything. It obviously, from the week before against Carlton, I think we took a fair few learnings about probably, like I said, how wound up we were at the start. maybe need to bring it down a level. And I think that's the best thing about what the boys did was learn from the week before and just kind of think you don't need to be doing anything too heroic, too outrageous. Literally just think what the team needs at the time and bring yourself down that little bit of a level. And it really worked. I think that's a great thing and probably did a lot better compared to the last couple of years that we have been in the first quarters.
Did you speak to Charlie Curnow after the game? He was borderline a decoy for Amati and stuff. He wouldn't have believed he played in a win where he didn't have to do much. He didn't do that much at Carlton, did he, Das?
No. It was on his head every single week.
So he's played in a win where, you know, he didn't have to kick 4 or 5 to get there. How was he after the game?
Mate, he was ecstatic, as he always was. Just obviously the team winning, I think he was just so happy with. But the reality is, I think you'd probably agree, the way he competed in the air and created contests for our smalls, for the other boys as well. But that's the thing is a lot of teams are going to put effort into him, which is great for us because we've got 2 other gun forwards who did their job on the weekend. And like I said, the reality is he crashes packs still. He doesn't lose a contest. He acts as another option. And he obviously had a few shots at goals, but this week just missed them, which you can't say anything wrong about missing goals because that happens. And the reality is he gave off a fair few goals too. So he has his damage in other ways.
Geez, Lizard started on fire, Chad. He is looking good flying off the half-back line.
Yeah, he's a funny one to watch, isn't he? He just is so fast and in all honesty, he's just probably one of the most important cogs in our ball movement, especially coming out of the back line. And when you see him streaming as a forward, you actually don't know whether to come up, go back, or just let it sail over your head. But he's one that is so good when you're up the ground to watch, and just because you know that the way he breaks the lines, it's going to be really hard for the defenders in the opposition team.
So yourself, you started out of the goal square. I'm like, oh, here we go. You played a lot more forward, a lot more inside that 50. Is this the role you're going to be playing all year? Were you happy with that role?
Yeah, I think it's something we've been doing a fair bit with myself and Isaac, obviously switching a fair. I think I left it a bit too long on the weekend, probably at the start. We probably don't want to be staying there that long, and we've got to work that out a bit better. I've probably got to go and bring myself up a bit earlier, especially to give Isaac a rest too, because that's the great thing about it. We can kind of give each other a bit of a chop out. One goes deep forward, one goes in the midfield, but it definitely is. It's I think we trialled it a lot more last year and probably the year before. 2024, we actually did it a lot too. And it's something I'm really enjoying, to be honest, because trying to play that 50-50 kind of role. It's one that really works for my power, I guess, too. Playing in the midfield too long probably burns me up a little bit and I get a bit cooked. So I think there's a lot of craft that I've still got to work on as well, which Isaac's been great for helping me out with too.
Yeah, so we're seeing big swings in momentum and massive scores being put on the board. We saw Freo kick 52 points in a quarter. Melbourne and Saints put up 1 million goals, and you guys ended Brisbane in a quarter. How much are the rules playing a factor, you think, in 2026, like the new rules for this season?
Yeah, well, I think based off face value and how much more scoring there is, the rules have to have played an impact. I think the main one is the 50s from the stand rule. There's been obviously a few 50s which probably have resulted in goals. But to be honest, I think a lot of the teams have just cottoned on to the way that the games need to be played. And you look at obviously the way we're playing, we've obviously gone a lot quicker off turnover, but you watch how the Suns did it. I think the Dogs, a lot of the other teams are pretty much the exact same anyway. And so the new rules is one, but the way all the teams are playing are very similar now. And I think that's contributing to the scores as well.
You guys, it must be nice being 2-0, and you've picked up a generational forward who's yet to fully hit his straps and fire up this year. Tell us more about Malcolm Roses.
Yeah, mate, he's amazing. Old Bung. I don't know why his nickname's Bung, but it is. He brought it over from Gold Coast, and he's such a funny little fella. First of all, he looks like Lionel Richie as well. He's dead ringer, but he's one that just gives so much energy. He's such a happy, cheeky little fella as well. He does anything. Literally, he came here and he said, all I want to do is tackle and make it better for you boys. And that's pretty much what he does. And he gets on the end of a goal himself. He plays his role out wide, refills. He, on the weekend, had, I think, over 600 metres of sprint, which is for reference, I do about 200. So it's ridiculous the amount that he does and the work that he does. But I think no one really realised how impactful he was until he showed what he can do in the last couple of weeks.
I love that. I love that answer. I love the Lionel Richie reference to us. Let's look forward. Thursday night, MCG. We haven't played Hawthorn since opening round last year. How pumped are you to be back on the G?
Yeah, I'm so pumped. It's one of my favourite places to play at, obviously, albeit not being able to play there much, unfortunately. But yeah, in front of a packed crowd and the Coliseum of Footy, it's such an amazing place to be, and I can't wait. The Hawks are obviously another really, really quality side, which that's what you want to play footy for. You want to play against the best.
Do you like the short break, like the Saturday to Thursday, because it is less training and it's more playing? Like, do you personally like it, or do you like the 7-day breaks that you do?
I actually do. The 5 might be a little bit short, but to be honest, the 6-day turnarounds, I actually don't mind it because, like you said, you don't train as much. You do a bit of a review, and it's literally just about getting ready for the next week. And if you look at now, we played only 2 days ago, but I'm playing again in 3 days. So for people like us who love playing footy, it's such a great way to do it because you play and then you blink and you're at the next game, which is what we want to be doing. We want to be playing, not training.
Did you watch much of Hawthorn Essendon Friday night?
Yeah, I actually did. I watched. I pretty much watched the whole game, and yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what the coaches bring to us tomorrow and what we've probably got to look at with them. But they've just got weapons all over the ground. It's going to be a real tough matchup for us.
They kicked 6 goals in about 6 minutes before halftime, and then came out and started kicking more after halftime. Yeah, it obviously looked a lot like what you guys did to Carlton, what you did to Brisbane. So is it going to be 200 points scored each this weekend, or is it like who's better at attacking from half back? Like, what do you think the game's going to look like?
Yeah, well, I really hope it's not 200 points each, because then it's just pretty much a flip of the coin to see who wins. With that, we're going to obviously hone right in on our offensive principles. That's not going to go anywhere. We obviously need to try and score as much as we can, and you'll see with the way the game's gone, obviously you need to do that. There's been so many big scores, so we're going to need to try to do that. But in all honesty, with how both teams played, I reckon it's going to look like whoever can defend the best, which we pride ourselves on obviously so much, and being able to stop the opposed ball movement. So I actually think whoever does that the best this week will probably win with how both teams play.
The Wizard, you probably don't hear it as much, but he is a megastar in Melbourne. Everyone talks about Nick Watson, the Wizard. Last year, him and Sam Wicks had an all-time battle that Wixie probably got the better of, even though Hawthorn won the game. Wixie probably won the battle. Is that the matchup again?
I mean, if I was a coach, yeah, I'd probably be doing that. I'm not sure what Coxie's going to pull out of the hat, but Wixie is so athletically built for that role. He's such a nippy, aggressive, honest defender as well. And to be honest, playing on Nick Watson would make me absolutely crap myself. Like you said, he's huge down in Melbourne, and we actually even been up in Sydney. Everyone hears about him, to be honest, and he's so crafty. Yep. He's obviously gets the ball and being able to go under people, through people. He does whatever he wants really, and he deserves all the respect that he's going to get too. And like you said, he's one of the guns that need to be stopped. And I reckon I'd be tipping that Wixie will go to him, but once again, it's another one that Coxie will pull out of the hat.
Do you and Tom Papley ever head down to that back line and have a few words with Jack Ginnivan and Nick Watson?
I might this weekend, you never know, but I think it's especially at the MCG, that part of the ground's a little bit far away for us, I think.
But Chad, do you want to play a quick game of Who Am I thanks to Statmate?
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
All right, here we go. I've had 20 plus disposals in 9 of my last 10 games at the MCG. I've kicked 8 goals in my last 6 games at the MCG. In my last 5 games with Errol, I averaged 20.2 disposals a game. In my last 5 games without Errol, I averaged 24.6 disposals a game. Who am I?
Oh, so averaging more without. Wait, so you said 8 goals in the last how many games? Sorry, the SCG.
6 games at the MCG.
Oh, sorry, MCG.
Yeah, all MCG.
God. Actually, really struggling. Is it me?
It is you. Chad, you love playing at the MCG. Why is it that you just love it? Is it the big ground? Why do you love playing on there so much?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I have had a lot of bad games on the MCG too, but I don't know. I think the bigger size, maybe being able to run and carry a lot more, I think that definitely helps. But I don't know. I think the way the Swans play too, I think, like I said, we've stuffed it up a fair few times there, but I think our game plan really suits the MCG on the right day as well.
Yeah, every time we've gone to watch you play, like whether you've lost the game or not, you've always seemed to star and show out. So definitely can't wait to watch you on Thursday. But Chad, I do have a couple of mailbag questions. So we put it out to our listeners. So I've got two good questions here. Will we see the blonde curls make a return, or are we sticking to the Jason Statham look?
Yeah, I think as everyone can probably tell, I don't really have much option these days. I'm going to say with this look, I think it's slowly going back each day. So unfortunately, I think the curls days are gone.
I don't know. I reckon you could get some curls still on top. It might be a nice little look, maybe a little mohawk. And also, we got one more here. After games, do you and the teammates shower in the nude or the jocks? That seemed to be the most liked comment.
Yeah, definitely nude. Usually.
You got to get it done.
Chad, have you ever seen Shedeur Sanders' highlight? Shedeur Sanders' celebration, how he holds up the watch. You ever seen that one?
Yeah, I have.
You know how I call us the Showtime Swans. I don't know if you call it, but I term the phrase the Showtime Swans.
Yep.
We any chance of a Sally this Thursday if you kick a goal? Just give a bit of a show of watch to the crowd, a bit of a Shedeur Sanders as a bow to the Showtime Swans. Yeah,
right. If I like we were talking about before, if I remember, I'll 100% do it. So hopefully I'm in the right state of mind. But I'll definitely get that one done for you if I can remember.
I'll have to message you Thursday. I'll message you nice and early Thursday morning. For those that don't know, when me and Das went to opening round, we get to Sydney. Das sends Chad a fucking video message. He's like, "Oh, Sydney feels like an upset. The Baggers are going to get you, Chatty," and he didn't want to bar it. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I think he just gave us a little bit of fuel, which was great.
For sure he did. For sure. That is episode 2 with Chad Warner on air, powered by Statmate. Great app, Chad. Looking forward to this Thursday. I will be there. Thank you so much for jumping on, my guy.
Cheers, guys. Great as usual. Hopefully we can play a really strong fantasy this week.
I'll see you at the G, mate.
Statmate makes AFL player stats easy. At the click of a button, you can discover insights like you've never seen before. Disposals and goals to fantasy points, how a player performs at a certain venue, or even when a teammate is out through injury, Statmate has you covered. Don't waste your time. Become an expert in just a few taps of a button. AFL player stats and insights thanks to your new best mate. Download Statmate for free today.